gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes the gentlelady from California, Ms. Torres, for 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Inspector General Russo, in May of this year, Capitol Police Chief Manager testified that, and you testified here today, that of the 103 recommendations related to January 6, 89 have been closed, correct?
That is correct.
So since the chief testified, it's been 2 months before this committee, why haven't any other recommendations been closed? And do you have an expectation as to how long it will take to close out the remaining 14 recommendations that you made?
I really don't. The department works fairly independent in working through those recommendations. I am familiar that they have a recommendation review committee, that they have an internal process to evaluate the recommendations and put in place measures to correct.
Is there a time frame that you have given them to close out the remaining 14?
No, ma'am.
Of the open recommendations that they still have, the department must seek approval from the Capitol Police Board and its congressional oversight committees to elevate and recognize its intelligence resources into a bureau-level entity. You and I talked about my visits with both the Los Angeles Police Department and the New York Police Department to get feedback from them as to their assessments during civil unrests or major demonstrations. I heard from them, from both of those departments and others that I talked to, that communication from the top down is critical. My concern here lies with those who are making decisions at the very top. You know, how is information trickling down to rank and file officers, and how intelligence is being shared among entities? I'm also concerned how Capitol Police officers are trained to effectively use their equipment and able to adequately gather and share intelligence within a centralized, interconnected network. I understand that the department has submitted a proposed reorganization plan to the Capitol Police Board and the committee. How, if at all, does that proposed organization plan address your recommendation?
So several of our recommendations dealt with the training issue you're talking about. How do we collect? How do we discern the intelligence, make it workable, get it to all members of the agency? The other portion is centralizing. Whenever you centralize that functionality, it helps to prevent miscommunication and ensure that intelligence doesn't fall through the cracks. So one of our recommendation, of course, was to elevate the intelligence unit to a bureau level, as you had mentioned. So since our flash reports came out, much additional training has gone on. Strengthening of the communication, as you said, from the top down, from our vantage point, has been put in place, and I think they're in a much better place now to both collect, share with our stakeholders, even outside the agency, to deal with those intelligence issues.
So, if we don't have proper communication now as a division, and your proposal is to elevate it to a bureau, and that doesn't seem to be happening. And I hear the K-9 unit is not receiving their 16 monthly hours of training. We need to expedite the recommendation to make sure that if the division isn't working and we're going to move it into the bureau, that the bureaucrats, as my colleague stated, move in that direction. Do you have any idea, any feedback on when that will happen?
I don't know when it'll happen. I know they're working on it, and I think the the main issue with elevating that to the Bureau is to centralize that chain of command and that communication instead of having the disparate intel capacity in each unit, centralizing that. And as far as the K-9, yes, 16 hours of training. We suggested that they change the training, the 10-hour shifts to 10, or whatever way they could do it to ensure that training occurs.
My time has expired, but I will follow up with your office on this very important issue.
Thank
I
you,
yield
ma'am.
back.